The dining room is alive with laughter, the clinking of glasses, and the warm hum of conversation. It's one of those rare nights when everyone sets aside their busy schedules to gather around the same table. The air is filled with the aroma of roasted lamb, buttery mashed potatoes, and the unmistakable fragrance of freshly baked bread. It should be the perfect evening. It should feel like home. But there's something amiss tonight, something hovering beneath the surface. I sit at the far end of the table, my fingers curled around the stem of my wine glass, swirling the rich red liquid as I watch the night unfold. My wife, Clara, is in her element, bright, lovely, effortlessly commanding the room as she tells one of her well-rehearsed stories. She has always had a way of drawing people in, as if she carries her own gravitational pull. Even my mother, who has always been a stern critic, listens with genuine curiosity. I should be happy, proud even. But there's an edge to Clara tonight, something I can't quite place. And of course I had to step in and fix everything myself, she adds with a giggle, her voice cutting through the hum of conversation. The others chuckle politely, nodding along, yet I catch the way her lips curl at the end, just slightly, almost, enough to suggest what's coming next. It happens so quickly that I barely have time to brace myself. I mean, let's be honest, she says, her voice carrying a tinge of indulgence. Some of us didn't exactly come from... Her attention flickers to me. It's just for a second. But the effect lands like a punch to the gut. The table falls silent. Half a heartbeat passes before my brother clears his throat and steers the conversation toward safer ground. But the damage is already done. I sense my mother stiffen beside me. My father's grip on his fork tightens. I set my wine glass down carefully, swallowing the lump in my throat. I've always known that Clara sees herself as superior in certain ways, but she's never said it out loud, at least not in front of my family. Clara takes a sip of her wine, utterly unbothered. Maybe she thinks she's being funny. Maybe she believes no one notices the way she so casually elevates herself above the rest of us. I glance at my father. He meets my eyes with a quiet understanding. He's never spoken much about Clara, but I've always had the sense that he sees more than he lets on. He's always been a patient man, a silent observer. But right now, I wonder what he's thinking. Could let it slide, laugh it off like I always do. Let her revel in whatever imagined power she holds over me. But tonight, something shifts inside me. You're right, Clara, I say evenly, my voice steady, measured. I didn't come from much. She smiles, delighted that I've played into her story. But then I continue. I didn't have to. I built something for myself. Her smile falters. Just a little. I don't raise my voice. I don't call her out. But the message is clear. The conversation moves on. The moment passes like a whisper in the night. But I know Clara, and I know she heard me. I saw it in the way she straightened. Just a little. The way she picked up her glass and took a longer sip than necessary. I should feel victorious. But instead I feel something else, something heavier. I glance around the table, at my mother's tight-lipped expression, my brother's forced attempt to keep things light, my father's silence. This won't be the last time Clara underestimates me. I can feel it. And for the first time in a long time, I wonder, does she even know who she's dealing with? I step outside into the cool night air, my breath slow and steady, letting the crispness soothe the fire burning inside me. Clara's words echo in my mind, over and over, mocking me like a ghost that refuses to be ignored. Came from nothing. She said it so lightly, so carelessly, as if I were some charity case she picked up and polished. For years, I've let these little moments slide. The subtle barbs, the veiled condescension, the way she talks about herself like she's some goddess who plucked me from the gutter. But tonight, something snapped. Maybe it was the way my mother's hand tightened around her napkin, or the way my father's face became unreadable, or maybe I'm just tired of pretending it doesn't matter. I take a deep breath, resting my hands against the stone railing of the patio. The city sprawls out before me, lights flickering in the distance, oblivious to the storm brewing inside me. Then, my phone vibrates. I glance at the screen, expecting another meaningless email, but the caller ID makes me freeze. My father's assistant. That's unusual. He never calls me personally. My father keeps his business world separate from our family life. If something needed my attention, it would go through my father himself. Curious, I answer. Hello? Sir, the assistant says, his voice clipped and professional. I wanted to inform you that your father's private plane is en route. He'll be landing within the hour. I frown, straightening. Wait, what? He's not coming alone, the assistant continues. He has a legal team with him. A slow chill runs down my spine. Legal team? I echo. Why? The assistant hesitates, barely a second. It's in response to tonight. I turn, glancing back toward the dining room. Clara is still laughing, still swirling her wine glass, completely unaware. I lower my voice. Tonight? You mean the dinner? Yes. Another pause. It seems your father has been waiting for the right moment to act, and your wife's words tonight may have been the final push. I grip the railing tighter, my heart pounding. For years, my father has stayed in the background, watching, observing, never interfering. I knew he had reservations about Clara, but he never said a word, never told me how to run my marriage. But now, he's sending his private jet, with lawyers. Something big is about to happen. A feeling surges through me. Half exhilaration, half dread. I've always known my father was powerful, but I never truly understood the depth of his influence. He's always downplayed his wealth, his reach, his ability to shape the world around him. I never questioned why he stayed silent. But tonight, I learned. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It means patience. It means strategy. And now, the game has changed. I press a hand to my temple, inhaling deeply. Clara has no idea what she's set in motion. She thinks she's in control, that her word is law, that she can talk down to me and my family without consequence. She's about to learn a lesson she'll never forget. For too long, I've let her arrogance slide. I've let her believe she holds all the power, that I'm just a man lucky to have her by my side. But I'm done being underestimated. The assistant clears his throat. Sir, your father requests you meet him at the estate. He'll explain everything in person. I nod, already making up my mind. I'll be there. As I hang up, something shifts inside me, like a door opening, one that can never be closed again. I take one last look at Clara, still basking in her own world, completely unaware. For the first time in years, I feel something close to satisfaction. Because this is just the beginning. I ask before he even speaks. There's a little delay before his rich voice comes through. More than you know. I sit back in my chair, my fingers pounding the desk. Inform me. The legal team has already prepared every piece of evidence needed to bring Clara down. We have the offshore accounts, the fraudulent business dealings, the shell corporations, everything. We've also been watching her financial activities. She's been shifting money covertly, likely in preparation for a fallback, plan she hasn't told you about. That doesn't surprise me. Clara always has an exit strategy. She never makes a move without ensuring she has a way out, but this time, she won't see it coming. She thinks she's in control, I mumble. She won't be for long, Wallace says. Your father wanted me to offer you the choice. Should we move forward now, or do you want to confront her first? I sigh, considering. If I let my father's squad handle things from the shadows, Clara will never see it approaching. She'll wake up one day and discover her empire disintegrating, her accounts frozen, her reputation ruined. But there's something about the prospect of staring her in the eyes, of watching her realize that she's lost, that tempts me. No, I say finally. Not yet. I want to address this personally. Wallace doesn't question me. Then I'll hold the squad back till you give the word. But be careful. A woman like Clara doesn't go down without a struggle. I smirk. I'm betting on it. As the call ends, I lean forward, putting my elbows on the desk. This is no longer just about retribution. It's about recovering my own power, about proving to Clara that she was never actually in control. I stand, snatching the file and moving toward the bookshelf where I keep a lockable compartment. I slide it open and deposit the folder inside. Clara may not know what's coming, but she will soon enough. Later that evening, Clara arrives home late, as she often does, walking inside with the casual assurance she always exhibits. She puts her coat over the chair, her eyes flashing to me as I sit in the living room, a drink of whiskey in my hand. "You're up late," she comments, kicking off her heels. I observe her closely. She doesn't know. Not yet. She still thinks she holds all the cards. "Couldn't sleep," I reply effortlessly. She sighs, pouring herself a glass of wine. "Work has been stressful. I swear, sometimes I think I'm the only competent person in my company." She takes a sip, oblivious to the irony in her remarks. I take my time before responding. "Must be awful carrying all that weight alone." She nods, utterly missing the edge in my tone. "You have no idea." "Yes, I do. I have every concept of just how much she's been hauling. Secrets, lies, stolen money." I watch her for a minute before finally stating, "I had an interesting conversation today. Clara doesn't seem up instantly. With my father's legal team." That grabs her attention. She stiffens slightly, the rim of her wine glass lingering near